future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Hi, welcome to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by, of course, 360karma.com. We hope that you're following us on Facebook and Instagram and, of course, Twitter. And if you don't want to miss any episodes, well, then subscribe to us on YouTube or iTunes. You won't want to miss any episodes because every week, as you know, we have amazing women, and that's what we have today is a wonderful woman who is a TV and movie actress. She has worked with some of the biggest directors in Hollywood. In fact, she was married to one. We're going to talk about that. And now she's the executive director of weSPARK. We're going to talk about the incredible work that they're doing. Please give a warm welcome to Nancy Allen. Hi.
Hi, thank you. What a lovely introduction. Thank you.
It's a long one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good thing I had my Wheaties. So being an actress in movie and television, and now this exciting new path that you're doing, we're going to talk all about that. You're the first actress I've had on. I'm just kidding. We're in Hollywood. That's good. Even my Uber drivers, that when I come in here, they're all either actors or writers or producers, right? But that's what I love about Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, everybody's here with hopes and dreams, and, and some of them come true.
And you know what? Your story is amazing because we're going to talk about where you came from and how you ended up in L.A. But the amazing part is you kind of made it here in like 3 months, which most people, it takes them 10 years. So you must have a little angel over your head. Yeah. So you started out in New York, where I actually moved here from New York, and you're probably a big fan of Manhattan like I am. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love New York. It's certainly where I'm from. I was born in the Bronx, and when you're born in one of the boroughs, your whole life is designed to get to Manhattan. How do you get to Manhattan quickly?
Right.
And
weren't you born at a hospital in Manhattan?
Doctor's Hospital, which doesn't exist anymore, on
Right.
the Upper East Side. My mother said to me, "You know, Marilyn Monroe was there when you were born." Fact, fiction, fantasy, I don't know.
Oh my
but I
gosh.
love the story.
I wonder if it's true. That's such a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, she said, my mother said to me, now, just whatever you do, stay out of Greenwich Village. So I thought, Greenwich Village, let me get there immediately. So I went right to Greenwich Village, and I went, here's my tribe.
Yeah.
These are my people.
Yeah.
And I really felt at home right away, like right away.
Yeah,
So
I love Greenwich Village.
Oh, I love it too. It's just, it felt like home to me.
Yeah, it's so artsy and
It is, and
cool
it's
vibe.
real neighborhoody and
Yeah.
small stores and very few big buildings except the pre-war fabulous old apartment buildings that are down there.
And what was it like growing up in the Bronx, was it?
Yeah.
You told me you grew up in a middle class family. Your dad was a lieutenant.
He was a New York City cop, and I went to the Academy of Mount St. Ursula, a very good all-girls school, right near where we lived. And I had 2 older brothers that were 8 and 6 years older than me. So it's almost like a different family,
Yeah.
my oldest brother. And then when I was about 10, we moved to Yonkers. So it was like, we're moving to Westchester. This is big.
Yeah, big time. Huh?
But, Manhattan, the Manhattan adventure started, I was studying dancing in Carnegie Hall, and then I auditioned for performing arts, which is the Fame School.
Right.
So I went there as a dance
wow.
major, and I was 14.
The same school as the one featured in the movie Fame.
Exactly.
Oh my God! And you said Patty Duke went there.
Well, no, this was after. This was a professional school. Of course, I'm not going to be able to think of anyone's names. Really famous people went, and I just can't think right now. But I found out, it was kind of great in a way. I found out, you're not going to be a dancer. You love to dance, but you don't have the passion, the drive, it's like dancers live to dance.
It's intense.
That wasn't me. You know,
Right.
I liked it. I
Right.
loved it. But so I thought, wow, now what do I do?
Right.
There goes that musical theater
Right.
career out the window.
And then you said you kind of just fell into the acting.
I did.
You were at a school where someone's mom was an agent and started booking you for commercials.
Yep,
right?
exactly. After
What was
I
your
left
first
PA.
commercial? Do you remember?
Certainly do. It was Wink, which was a grapefruit soft drink, and
what happened to that drink?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it exists
definitely
somewhere.
dating ourselves,
really
right?
Very
Because
good.
I remember this drink. Yeah,
You had a drink and everything.
Yeah.
But I was hired as a go-go dancer.
Yeah.
You remember go-go dancers?
Yeah.
And there was the featured actress was miming, playing the piano and singing to playback and all of that. It was a little band, and the director was very mean, and he didn't like the actress that was hired. I mean, we're 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he says, "You sit down at the piano." So I started to do it. This is my thrust into greatness. And he said, "You take a drink and then you put it down and then you start playing and sing." So I do that. And I said, "Oh, wait a minute, it dribbled." He said, "You stupid girl, don't ever stop a take. Where did you learn how to act?" I'm like, oh my God.
Oh,
so that was my introduction to acting.
Wow. Was it like super misogynistic back then? Like, I mean, that sounds like it was. Yeah.
Well, it was, and it was, the show Mad Men. I don't know if you watched it, but when I started, it was the mid '60s, so that was the environment.
Right.
It was all men,
all male
you
executives,
never saw
all white male executives.
totally,
right? Yeah.
and you never saw women were never around. The occasional hairdresser, not even the makeup artist. Even that was sort of locked down. Mostly men that were doing
Really?
that. Oh yeah, no,
Wow.
it was really like that, and so it's taken a long time, but it's certainly changed quite a bit since then.
So, and how did you end up in LA? What was that path?
Well, when I was 22, I had a small part in The Last Detail, and I thought, oh, this is kind of a cool thing, making movies that had a very different environment than commercials, and I thought, this is interesting. And then, but I didn't do anything about it, and then about 3 years later, I just woke up one day, and I thought, I can't do one more commercial. There's nothing left for me to sell.
Right.
I've done it all. It's now or
It
never.
was exciting, and then it got old.
It got old. Well, yeah, it paid the bills. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was always that, and it was fun, and I love the collaborative environment. It was just fun for me. I love playing make-believe. So I thought, you're doing it now or you're never going to do it. And I literally packed up and came to California.
Yeah. The old same story. You
Yeah.
had a dream, and you came here. And
Yes, and I had a list of 5 agents that supposedly my manager in New York had submitted my picture to, and I always love telling this story because it's stunning to me. This was in 1975, and one of the 5 agents was a woman. And I called her, and she said, "Oh, I have your picture. How old are you?" And I told her I was 25, and she said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah, no, I'm not interested. You really, if you were a guy, I would look at you, but women are not really worth the investment of my time." And I thought,
my gosh.
wow.
And
Fortunately,
where's that woman today? Is she still an agent?
I don't know. I
Ah,
don't know if
I'd
she is,
love
but
to
she was.
know.
She
We're
was
after
very,
her.
She was very successful agent. So that, those kind of things spurred me
Wow.
on rather than deterred me. It was like, oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
That lit
show
the
you.
fire, huh?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
So 3 months out here, tell me this story. You're coming out of a steam room, and
I had not one audition.
it already sounds like a good story, right?
The agent did nothing. I had no auditions, nothing. I kept saying, don't you need a picture? And he said, no. I'm out in the field. I'm talking about you. And I went, oh, okay, that sounds good. And I literally, it was around the holiday coming up to Thanksgiving. I thought, I'm done. I need to earn a living. I need to go back to New York. I know I can work there. And I was a member of the Beverly Hills Health Club for Women, which doesn't exist anymore. And
Like the
I
Wink.
that's right. A lot of things are left behind. It's dial phones. And I heard, "Nancy? Is that Nancy Allen?" I turned around and I said, "Yo." It was Harriet Helberg, who was a casting director that I knew from New York. She cast for Horn Griner in New York. It was a big commercial company. And she said to me, "I'm casting a movie. It's teenagers. It's perfect for you. You won't get hired, but it's the last day of casting, and at least you'll get to read for director." And I said, "Great." And so just drive over to the studio, Culver City Studios, which I love. I love such a, with the Selznick studios in the front. It's such an iconic image.
It is.
And I picked up the script, and it was based on a book, and I got the book from the library, stayed up literally all night and wrote a biography of the character, and I was the last person of the last day to read, and that was Carrie. And that changed my life. So needless to say, I didn't move back to New York at that point.
It's needless to say, and you met director Brian De Palma at that audition.
I did.
And ended up marrying the guy.
Years later.
No, right away.
But no, but you know, it's funny. He was only, I think he was 36 years old, and the directors that I worked with, the commercial directors, had been around a long time in New York. They were kind of older.
Yeah.
Or older. They were probably in their 40s, maybe 50 at that time. So I just made the assumption that, that after commercials and you became a film director, you must be really old. So when he came down the stairs to read me, I thought,
you were like, oh,
wow. The director? Okay, young guy with a beard, kind of cute.
That's wild. And so you were married how long?
Well, we were only married a little over almost 3.5, 4 years when we separated, but we were together all in all about 7 years.
Okay,
so,
and still friends, or
well,
or
I'm
don't go
friendly.
there? Or
I'm friendly.
and so moving right along, you also worked with other people like Steven Spielberg,
Robert Zemeckis. I made his first movie. Steven Soderbergh.
All the greats, really. You've had an amazing career.
Very, very fortunate. Yeah, really.
And one of the other big movies, Dress to Kill.
Yes.
Which you guys are going to show at one of your upcoming events.
We are.
For the new life that you're living, which is executive director for weSPARK.
Yes, weSPARK Cancer Support Center, and we're calling that screening Dress to Kill Cancer.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
And just to close up your movie career, so what was it like working on that film?
Well, it was really...
Was that a highlight of your career?
It certainly was, because unbeknownst to me, Brian actually wrote that part for me. He was just reading it to me as he was writing, and I thought, this is so good. I can see it. You could just see it. And then when he told me he wrote it for me, I was just so excited. But then the responsibility, it scared me.
Yeah.
It was my first real starring role. And then on top of that, I was going to work with Michael Caine, and I couldn't imagine. And yet, that man is the most gracious, wonderful, best sense of humor. He's just so funny and wonderful. It was, and Dennis Franz, of course. We worked together on that, and then we did Blowout together, and of course everybody knows him from Hill Street Blues, and I don't know.
I think everybody, when they meet somebody that they think is famous, they get a little starstruck, and until you start working together and realizing, oh, okay, everybody's just people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it was probably fun at first to work with, you know.
Oh my God, so much fun.
Yeah.
And you learn from everybody that you work with. I remember I worked with Richard Dreyfuss on The Buddy System. That was a fun film. Susan Sarandon, Gene Stapleton, Will Wheaton as a little boy. But, you know, Richard is so brilliant with words. And what I learned from him was to really use and work the words. Yeah. And
I've always loved him as an actor. He's always been amazing. He's kind of on the dark list right now, unfortunately.
I know.
But, you know, hey, that's what's going on in Hollywood right now.
I know.
But, you know, and let's put, this in a positive light. Like, whether it's here in Hollywood or anywhere else in the country, the fact that all of this is coming to light is a good thing. Look how you were treated as a young and up-and-coming actress. Well, let's hope that young and up-and-coming actresses now don't go through that.
Well, or at least learn how to take care of themselves. And I, from the time I was 15, and up and up and up from there, even as someone who had some success, had experiences. I mean, every experience you've read about, I've had it.
Right.
And found a way to, to either remove myself or stuff the feelings. I mean, what happened to me at 15, I didn't speak about until I was in my 30s.
Wow.
I felt such shame, and I did nothing.
Right.
So what I hope is that women know, young women know, that you don't have to say yes to anyone, and beyond that, you have to also take responsibility.
Yes.
If I'm going to put on a sexy see-through, well, not anymore, but in those days.
Yeah, and I was going to do that today, by the way.
Well, we could have coordinated, but be aware.
Yeah.
You are promoting your sexuality.
Yeah.
So if somebody says something, you can't call foul.
Right.
You're participating. So be who it is and act in a way that you want to be treated. Not to say that you shouldn't be sexy, pretty, all of that, but if you're going to go all the way out there, then you got to be ready.
Yeah, so there's a responsibility on both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so moving into weSPARK, because this is an incredible story of how you got involved. One of your best friends started weSPARK because she had cancer, correct?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So I met Wendie Jo Sperber when we did the movie I Want to Hold Your Hand, that was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who was his first feature. And
so Wendie was a
actress?
co-actress.
Yes, she was a comedic actress, one of the best, and she was a little bit younger than me. But you know how you meet someone and you're just kindred spirits from the minute we met. And so we struck up a friendship and stayed connected. And although I moved back to New York, and while I was back in New York, she actually was diagnosed with cancer and went through all that. And a few years later,
we've all had friends and family diagnosed with cancer. And
my father died of cancer,
Yeah,
and then
mine
more
too.
friends that I could count on two hands, unfortunately.
My mom died of cancer, and my dad died of cancer.
I'm so sorry.
My mom was colon cancer, so I do everything colonoscopy. I hope everybody listening does that. It is preventative.
That's right.
You know, my dad had prostate cancer, so I'm not too worried about that.
No.
But I really applaud the work you all are doing, because you saw that there was something being underserved, right? And that was not just the cancer survivors, but the people helping them, the family and friends and caretakers,
their entire community was affected. I mean, you know, I know.
Right.
Anyone who has a friend or family member with cancer, it affects, nobody knows what to do.
Right.
Everyone's filled with anxiety and fear. So Wendie said, let's help everybody.
Yeah.
And everyone said to her, oh, no, you can't do that. She said, no, I am going to do it, and it's all going to be free. And I went, oh, no, you really can't do that.
Right.
And that's what we did. And she invited me first as a celebrity golfer to help her raise money. And that was easy, you know, little golf.
Oh, you golf? Do you still golf?
That was fun. No, because I have my back. I have a rotten back, back surgery and all. But then when she found the place to open it, she said, you know, you're into all that woo-woo stuff. Why don't you come and help me? And I thought, well, you know, I'm not working right now. I guess I could maybe a couple hours a week.
Right.
And boy,
here you are, the executive director now.
I fell in love with the work. Because it was an opportunity
It was a calling.
to, you know, it really is. And it's given me a new passion and purpose. And, of course, you know, friends say, well, wasn't it depressing? And then it really isn't. It's actually, it's a very inspirational environment.
No, you're helping people, and you guys are serving something that was underserved. So
yes, and people come in, you see them come in, and they're terrified and feeling, you know, hopeless in a sense. And then after they meet other people, they get connected, they start to use some of the remarkable and amazing services that we offer.
That help people emotionally, physically, mentally, right?
All the side effects from a cancer diagnosis, and so it's really a privilege, and to work with the amazing facilitators and instructors and therapists and practitioners, all the people who do service there for this much money, so that we can afford to offer it for free. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
So,
now, when she started this, how long did she live after she started this organization?
Well, we opened in March of 2001, so it's going to be 17 years ago. And shortly after, 6 months after we opened, she was re-diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, breast cancer. They, at that time, gave her 15 months to live, and she passed away November 29th of 2005, so she still had work to do.
Yeah.
She was not done.
Yeah, when people have a purpose like that, I think it keeps them going, and
definitely.
Yeah, it definitely boosts that immune system. And,
I used to tease her because I say, Wendie, these are such great services. You should come in and you should use them. She says, oh, I know, I really should, but I'm so busy. She was so busy fundraising.
Right.
You know, and
that's beautiful. What a beautiful legacy.
Yes.
Because now she's gone on to help so many, even in her passing.
Absolutely. And I think the organization, I know the organization has grown way beyond our expectations when we first opened, and this may not mean anything to anyone, but since the first of the year we've had 80 new intakes, which is incredible, and that means that over the course of next year we'll serve anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people.
Wow, that's
so
great.
It's
and I learned about your organization through Scott, who is your board president, right?
He is.
And him and Catherine introduced us. I'm so glad they did. I went to your comedy event that was amazing at the Square Ball. You do that every October?
Well, this year it's going to be, yes, it will be October, I want to say 9th this year. And we also have coming up in March, for any of you poker players out there, the Jason Alexander Texas Hold'em Poker Tournament, which is a lot of fun. And we do a jazz event in the summer, and we're going to do Dress to Kill Cancer. So we'll have a screening. We'll be very busy. Oh, and a run walk. We're very, very busy fundraising.
Well, that's one of the best fundraisers I've been to. And
thank you.
Like I said, Scott Williams and Catherine Curry Williams, who I know are big advocates of this organization, and I'm introduced to it because of them. So thank you, Scott, and thank you, Catherine.
And they have a wonderful Shane's Inspiration.
And they have Shane's Inspiration, which we've actually talked about on my show. You guys had like world-class comedic talent at your event. Really, one of the most fun events I've been to. So I highly recommend it.
We love to laugh. Laughing is really important.
That's the best medicine, right?
It is.
And they can find out about your events at weSPARK.org, right?
weSPARK.org, or you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all of that. But the website will give you all the information.
And I know you have a lot of celebrities involved, I guess because of your reach out to the communities with your background. And that's wonderful, because I know we have some pictures here that you gave us of, I'm trying to think of who's in the pictures.
Well, Tom Hanks is a supporter.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
And Spielberg is a supporter.
Right.
I don't know who all is in our pictures. Billy Gardell and Jimmy Woods and
that's wonderful to have that.
Alexander's just a dear,
oh yeah, love him,
sweet person.
Yeah. I love that they're getting behind this cause and that they're using their, gravitas to help promote something like this.
Well, it's what you said. Everyone's life has been touched by cancer, and I'll tell you a quick story about Jason Alexander. So he's been hosting this poker tournament for the last 15 years.
And that's coming up this month?
Yeah, it's coming up March 25th. And every year, and usually at all the events, I say, would anyone who has had a family member or friend affected their lives by cancer raise your hand? And I always raise my hand, and the whole room raises their hands.
Everyone, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. But last year, Jason spoke, and he said, every year I watched Nancy do that, and I'd sit there, not me. And he said, and this year I can tell you, me too, because he had a family member that was affected by cancer. Wow. And he said, it's like he said, you really see when you go through that how valuable these services are to people. So.
Absolutely. People do need the support when they find that out, and the community. Community is just so important in general to our happiness. They say it adds years to our life to have community. So it's a beautiful thing that you all have built. And the other event you have is at a cabaret, is it?
Well, we have the jazz event. It's a cool jazz on a hot summer night. So that's the end of the summer. But what I was going to say, too, just to talk about community and talk about the services, part of my personal belief is many of the things that we do, yoga, Tai Chi, all of the movement things, but meditation and hypnotherapy and so many of the healing modalities. I'm a big believer in healing before any kind of dis-ease.
Yes.
And I really think that that's something, because if it's not cancer, it's anxiety, or it's so many different things that people suffer from, and these are modalities that are very, very effective for treating a lot of those issues. Yeah.
And so all of these services are free.
Everything's free.
People can reach out to weSPARK.org.
Yes.
And if they have a friend or family member or colleague that has cancer, they can A, tell them about weSPARK, and B, they can get involved with weSPARK.
Absolutely.
I know you're always looking for volunteers and, of course, funding.
Yes.
To help make it. How much funding do you all raise on an annual basis?
Over $1 million.
Oh, that's
Our operating budget is about $1.2 million, so we have to raise all that money.
Wow. And what was it in year one?
Oh my God, I don't know. We had one program a week, and pretty much everybody was a volunteer.
You told me you used to have one program a week when you started. Now
one program a day. One program a day.
One a day. Yeah. And now you have like 50 a day.
50 a week.
A week.
A week.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
No, you know what? It would be great. We need more space. We're literally running out of space, which is the good news and bad news, because that's how many people are coming.
Wow.
And that's how many people
news,
are using.
bad news.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it's in Sherman Oaks.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. We'll keep doing this wonderful work.
And you too. Keep doing the good, spreading
you.
the good word.
Well, I love telling the stories of women who are doing amazing work in the world, and so nice to have you on and learn about weSPARK. And I mean, it's nice that you're taking everything that you've been blessed with and paying it forward.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a privilege.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Tune in then, and just make it a great week. Give back, and hugs and happiness.